Beloved ascending starseed, take a gentle breath. I am Kaya Nexus, Pleiadian emissary of the Council of the Seven Sisters. What arrives now is a realignment, soft, precise, and intentional. Your abundance frequencies are awakening naturally. The universe invites you to listen not with effort, but with an open heart. What is coming is sacred, and it unfolds in stillness. Before we continue, receive this gently. What you are feeling is not imbalance. It is sensitivity awakening. This is not emotional instability. It is cellular remembrance. Starseed, you didn't imagine it. Since you were young, you've carried a quiet, persistent feeling that you were placed into a world that speaks a language you never fully learned. You can smile, succeed, even belong, and still sense a glass wall between you and normal life. And what's unsettling is not just the difference, it's the pattern. The same wounds repeating, the same people misunderstanding you, the same inner pressure to be simpler, to want less, to fit in, as if your very frequency is inconvenient to the rooms you enter. But here is the truth most never hear. Feeling different is not your flaw, it's your signature. And today's Pleiadian message is going to explain why your nervous system reacts the way it does, why your heart can't tolerate shallow connections, why you've always been allergic to performance, and why, when you try to live like everyone else, your soul feels like it's slowly suffocating. Because what if the discomfort isn't a sign you're broken, but proof you're waking up? Stay with me until the end, because the final transmission will reveal the clearest sign that you're not too much. You're simply remembering what you are. There is a reason your difference has never been solved by changing your hair, your job, your friend group, your city, or your habits. Because the sensation doesn't come from the outside. It comes from the fundamental relationship between your inner field and the collective frequency you're standing inside. The Pleiadian transmit this first principle. Your nervous system is not merely biological. It is an antenna. It reads the room before your mind does. It detects incoherence before people speak. And that is why you often feel too aware, too sensitive, too tuned in, as if reality is louder for you than it is for others. In the Pleiadian view, Earth has layered frequencies running simultaneously, dense timelines built on survival, performance, and fear, and lighter timelines built on coherence, truth, and multidimensional remembrance. Many starseeds incarnate carrying a lighter template. Not better, just different architecture. Imagine bringing a crystal instrument into a factory. It's not that the crystal is defective. It's that the environment is vibrating in a way that scrapes against its natural tone. This is what you experience as discomfort, restlessness, loneliness, and the strange sense of being misplaced. And because we've been trained to label everything as psychology, people try to reduce you to traits: introverted, anxious, intense, overthinking, avoidant. But those are surface translations of an energetic reality. You don't overthink because you are mentally broken. You overthink because your system is trying to map truth inside an inconsistent environment. When you sense someone's smile doesn't match their energy, your mind tries to reconcile what your field already knows. When you feel a job doesn't match your soul, your mind tries to justify staying because society rewards stability, but your frequency demands alignment. Let me give you a simple daily life example. You're in a conversation that looks normal on paper. Someone asks how you are, you answer politely, you exchange surface updates. But you leave feeling drained, irritated, even sad, and you can't explain why. That is frequency mismatch. Your system was forced to compress itself, to flatten your true resonance into a socially acceptable tone. Over time, that compression becomes fatigue, and fatigue becomes the belief that something is wrong with you. But as the Pleiadian transmit, the tiredness is not weakness. It's the cost of living in compression. Now here's where it becomes even more precise. The reason you've always felt different is because your field is designed for truth-first living. You can't sustain a life built on pretending. You can't hold friendships that require masks. You can't thrive in environments where you must betray your inner knowing. That's why your life often includes sudden endings that confuse others. You might walk away from a group, a job, a relationship, and people say, "But it was fine." Yet you could feel it wasn't coherent. And coherence is oxygen to your soul. If you've ever felt like you were born with an invisible instruction manual that nobody else received, that's not delusion. It's remembrance. It's the sense that you came here carrying a specific tone, a mission encoded into your energy, and you have never been able to fully forget it, no matter how hard you tried to be normal. And the more you awaken, the harder it becomes to tolerate the mismatch. But if your difference is a frequency signature, why does it come with so much loneliness, and why do people who feel like home seem so rare? Loneliness for a starseed is rarely about being alone. It's about being surrounded by people and still not being met. It's the ache of speaking and not being understood at the level you actually communicate from. The Pleiadian transmit that starseeds often communicate in resonance, not in words. Your system is searching for energetic reciprocity, a feeling that the other person is present, honest, and open. When that isn't there, even a full room feels empty. That is why you may have had phases of your life where you were socially active, yet privately hollow, quietly wondering, why does none of this touch me? Many starseeds develop a coping strategy. They become high-functioning. They become the helpful one, the healer, the listener, the problem solver. And this often earns them admiration. But admiration is not intimacy. Being needed is not being known. So the starseed grows skilled at supporting others, yet remains unseen. And that pattern can create a deep loneliness that feels existential, not emotional, like a homesickness without a location. The deeper truth is that loneliness is often a protective pause encoded into your path. Before you reconnect with your true soul family, your field must release false belonging. The Pleiadian transmit, the universe will not allow you to anchor your mission inside relationships that dilute you. So what happens? People fall away. Old friendships stop fitting. You try to revive them. You try to be less. You try to be easy to keep. And yet something keeps separating you. This is not punishment. It is calibration. Think of it like tuning a radio. If your signal is changing, you can't stay locked into the old station. The static increases. The sound becomes distorted. You can still force it, but it will hurt. That static is loneliness. Not because you lack love, but because your frequency is shifting and your environment hasn't caught up. Here's an example that might hit close to home. You meet someone new, and for a moment, it feels like relief. They seem deep. They say spiritual words. They mirror your sensitivity. And then, slowly, you notice the same old pattern. They want access to your light, but they don't want to meet your truth. They want your comfort, but not your clarity. They want your energy, but not your boundaries. And the starseed, because they are empathic, tries to fix it. They try to love harder, but love is not meant to be labor. The Pleiadian transmit, when love becomes labor, it is often a contract, not a connection. So loneliness becomes the doorway. It teaches you discernment. It trains your boundaries. It builds your inner companionship with your own soul. This is why many awakened starseeds go through a season where they become intensely private, not because they hate people, because they are learning to stop abandoning themselves to maintain connection. And there is another layer, your nervous system. Starseeds often carry heightened sensitivity, which means social environments can overwhelm you even when you like people. You may need more solitude than others to reset. And if you were shamed for that, called distant, cold, antisocial, you may have learned to override your needs. But your body keeps score. Your body will pull you back into solitude until you listen. If this channel has helped you in any way, this ebook is a beautiful way to support the work and keep these messages alive. The Pleiadian map of personal transmutation was created with care to share tools that help raise your frequency, clear old patterns, and reconnect with your multidimensional self through the 7 Pleiadian phases of energetic transmutation. Inside, you'll find practical techniques, realignment exercises, vibrational protocols, and gentle rituals for consciousness expansion. By purchasing this ebook, you directly support the channel and allow this content to continue reaching more people. Limited edition. The link to get yours is in the first pinned comment. Thank you for being here and for supporting this journey. But if loneliness is calibration, what is the hidden reason you've always felt too sensitive? And why does your body react so strongly to certain people and places? Your sensitivity is not a weakness you need to get over. It is a multidimensional interface. The Pleiadian transmit that sensitivity is an advanced form of perception, the ability to feel what is true before it is spoken, to detect energetic distortion, and to sense timelines before they fully crystallize. But on Earth, sensitivity is often treated like a liability. People tell you to toughen up, stop caring, stop feeling everything. And if you tried, you likely discovered you can't. You can only numb, and numbing isn't healing, it's disconnection. Let's translate what sensitivity actually is in daily life. It's why you walk into a room and instantly feel the mood. It's why certain music can open your heart like a door. It's why harsh lighting, chaotic schedules, forced small talk, or superficial competition can make you feel sick. It's why you need truth, not just good vibes. Because your system is built to track coherence. When the outside is incoherent, your inside goes on alert. Many starseeds grew up in environments where their sensitivity was inconvenient. Maybe your caregivers didn't have the emotional literacy to hold you. Maybe you were told you were dramatic, difficult, or too intense. So you learned to hide your reactions. You learned to smile while absorbing pain. You learned to stay silent while your body screamed. And that's where sensitivity becomes suffering. When you have perception, but no permission. The Pleiadian transmit that your sensitivity is meant to be trained, not suppressed. Training looks like learning boundaries, learning energetic hygiene, learning to choose environments that match your frequency. It also looks like understanding your own triggers. Are you reacting to danger or to unprocessed memory? Are you sensing real distortion or are you reliving old survival patterns? Starseeds often carry both, genuine perception and old wounds, and the path is to separate them, refine them, and become precise. Here is a story many starseeds will recognize. You enter a relationship with someone who seems stable. They say the right words, they look safe, but your body feels uneasy. You ignore it because you don't want to be crazy. You tell yourself you're overreacting. You try to be logical, and later, the truth reveals itself. Maybe they were hiding something. Maybe they were emotionally unavailable. Maybe their values didn't match their words. And you think, I knew it. That is sensitivity. Your body read the truth before your mind had evidence. Now let's talk about why this becomes exhausting. Because if you are constantly reading the field, you are constantly processing information. And if you don't have practices to discharge what you absorb, your system overloads. That overload can look like anxiety, insomnia, digestive issues, mood swings, social withdrawal, and the feeling that you're not functioning like everyone else. But you're not designed to function like everyone else. You're designed to function like an antenna in a dense world. So what do? The Pleiadian transmits simple protocols. First, choose your inputs. What you watch, who you talk to, what spaces you enter, all of it becomes your field. You cannot consume chaos and expect peace. You cannot entertain distortion and expect clarity. Second, ground your body, not through force, but through presence, walking, water, breath, nature, silence. Your body is the stabilizer of your frequency. Third, practice truth. Sensitivity without truth becomes fear. Sensitivity with truth becomes guidance. The more honest you are with yourself, the less your sensitivity will feel like a storm. it becomes a compass. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button now and tell us in the comments how this echoed in your consciousness. If this message ignited something within you and you feel the call to help carry it to others, you may become a channel member. As a member, you gain access to custom emojis and exclusive members-only videos, and your donation helps us continue building this sacred space. You may also choose to leave your offering as a super thanks. Every seed planted here becomes part of someone else's miracle. Your support is not merely financial, but an act of energetic amplification. All donations are devoted entirely to the maintenance of the channel and the creation of new transmissions and videos. But if sensitivity is your interface, why do you keep attracting intense karmic dynamics? And why do certain people feel like they're assigned to trigger you? One of the most frustrating experiences for starseeds is noticing the repetition. Different faces, same energy. Different story, same ending. You think you've learned the lesson. You think you've healed, and then another person arrives carrying a familiar frequency. Manipulation, emotional unavailability, jealousy, dependency, control. And you ask, why does this keep happening to me? The Pleiadian transmit that triggers are not random. They are a form of curriculum, not because you deserve pain, but because your soul is committed to refinement. Earth is a compression planet. It forces consciousness to choose truth or performance, sovereignty or codependency, alignment or approval. The people who trigger you are often mirrors showing you where your light still negotiates with distortion. Here is the key. Starseeds often carry a healing frequency that feels like relief to others. You walk into a room and someone feels calmer. You listen and someone feels seen. You offer kindness and someone feels safe. That is beautiful, but it also attracts those who want to feed on that relief without doing their own work. So you become a magnet, and if you have old patterns of caretaking, people-pleasing, or proving your worth, you may unconsciously allow them closer than your boundaries would permit. Let's make this practical. A person comes into your life and they move fast. They want closeness quickly. They call you special. They say they've never felt this before. And your heart, starved for real connection, opens. But then the dynamic shifts. They begin to withdraw, to test you, to keep you uncertain. And you find yourself working harder to earn their stability. That is not love. That is nervous system capture. The Pleiadian transmit that many starseeds are learning the same core lesson: to stop confusing intensity with destiny. Intensity can be a trauma bond. Intensity can be unresolved pain recognizing itself. Intensity can be the ego trying to simulate soul connection. True soul resonance is not chaotic. It is calm. It is clear. It is mutual. It does not require you to abandon yourself to keep it. So why do these people find you? Because your field is bright. But brightness without boundaries is like an open door in a storm. Anything can enter. Your triggers appear until you learn the art of sacred filtering. Who gets access to your time, your intimacy, your emotional labor? Another layer is your own growth edge. Some starseeds still carry a hidden belief. I have to be good to be loved. That belief attracts relationships where love is conditional, because your system keeps recreating the environment until you rewrite the code. The moment you decide that love is not earned through suffering, your entire relational timeline shifts. Now let's talk about how to break the pattern. The Pleiadian transmit a simple standard. Choose what chooses you. If someone is inconsistent, let them go. If someone drains you, step back. If someone requires you to shrink, leave, not with rage, with clarity. Your frequency is not here to negotiate with distortion. It's here to anchor a new template. And the biggest shift is internal. Stop trying to be understood by those committed to misunderstanding you. Your energy is sacred. Your heart is not a rehabilitation center. And your presence is not a bargaining chip. Are these truths expanding your perspective? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. But if triggers are curriculum, What is the deeper mission behind your entire life? And why have you always felt pulled toward meaning, truth, and awakening? Even when you tried to be normal, you couldn't stay asleep. Even when you tried to focus on money, status, or external success, you kept feeling a pull toward something deeper. You might not have had words for it, but you felt it, a hunger for meaning, a craving for truth, a desire to understand consciousness itself. That pull is not a hobby, it's a mission signal. The Pleiadian transmit that starseeds are seeded with codes, vibrational instructions embedded in your field. These codes activate through life experience, through heartbreak, through solitude, through synchronicities, through sudden awakenings that crack open your old identity. And as they activate, you begin to feel an urge to align your life with your soul, not just society. This is why so many starseeds struggle with conventional paths. You can do them, but you can't worship them. You can work a job, but you can't pretend it's your purpose if it's not. You can follow routines, but you need them to be meaningful. You can build success, but if it costs your authenticity, it feels like failure. Your inner compass is not set to approval, it's set to alignment. Here is a story that happens to many starseeds. You reach a milestone, graduation, promotion, relationship, moving to a new place. People congratulate you. You smile, and then, in a quiet moment, you feel empty. Not because you're ungrateful, but because you can feel the gap between what you achieved and what your soul actually wants. That gap becomes the sacred discomfort that pushes you toward awakening. Many people run from that discomfort by numbing, distracting, or chasing more achievements. Starseeds cannot run forever. Your system will call you back. The Pleiadian transmit that your mission is less about a specific job and more about a frequency you hold. Some starseeds are here to teach, some are here to heal, some are here to build new systems, art, technology, communities, spaces of coherence. Some are here to anchor light codes through creativity, speaking, writing, energy work, and presence. But all carry one shared purpose: to bring coherence into density. And coherence is not a performance, it's a way of being. It looks like truth. It looks like integrity. It looks like choosing peace over proving. It looks like setting boundaries without guilt. It looks like creating a life where your nervous system can rest. So how do you know what your mission is? The Pleiadian transmit that your mission leaves clues. What makes you feel alive? Not excited for a moment, but alive in your cells. What injustice or distortion breaks your heart? Your pain often points to your purpose. What do people come to you for naturally? That's your field working. What have you survived that you can now alchemize into wisdom? That is your transmutation path. And yes, mission often begins in small acts. It's not always a stage. Sometimes it's the way you speak truth in a family that never did. Sometimes it's the way you create safety for others by being authentic. Sometimes it's the way you choose yourself after a lifetime of abandoning your needs. The mission is not always loud, but it is always real. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be part of this transformational cosmic journey. But if your mission is coherence, why does awakening often feel like loss? And why do you sometimes grieve your old self as if something died? Awakening is not just expansion, it's also release. And release can feel like grief. Many starseeds are surprised by this. They think awakening will feel like constant bliss, constant certainty, constant light. But the Pleiadian transmit that awakening is a shedding process. Identities fall away, relationships shift, old dreams dissolve, and parts of you that were built for survival begin to die off. That is why you may feel emotional waves with no clear reason. You are grieving the versions of you that were never truly you, but that kept you safe. There is a specific kind of grief starseeds experience, the grief of wasted energy. You look back at how much you tried to be accepted, how much you performed, how much you shrank, how much you tolerated, and you feel sadness, not only for the pain, but for the time. But the Pleiadian transmit that nothing was wasted. Every experience built discernment. Every heartbreak refined your boundaries. Every disappointment pushed you closer to truth. Even your mistakes were part of your training. Another layer. As you awaken, your tolerance for distortion drops. You can no longer laugh at cruelty. You can no longer participate in gossip. You can no longer ignore your body's signals. You can no longer pretend you're okay when you're not. That can make you feel like you're losing your old life. And in a way, you are. Because you are moving into a timeline where your life is built around coherence, not coping. This is why awakening sometimes includes a void period. The old has ended, but the new hasn't fully arrived. You're no longer who you were, but not yet fully who you're becoming. People around you might not understand this liminal space. They may think you're depressed. They may think you're lost. But the Pleiadian transmit, the void is not failure. It is the chamber of reconfiguration. It is where your field reorganizes itself around your true frequency. In daily life, this can look like needing more sleep, craving simpler routines, losing interest in old entertainment, wanting silence, wanting nature, wanting fewer conversations. It can also look like your ambitions changing. You may no longer want to win in the old ways. You may want peace more than praise. You may want depth more than attention. That is a sign of maturation, not decline. And grief is also relational. Some people will not come with you, not because they're bad, but because their timeline is different, and you may mourn them even when leaving is right. You can love people and still outgrow the dynamic. Starseeds often try to drag everyone into awakening with them, but you can't. Your job is to embody coherence. Those who are ready will resonate. If this channel has helped you in any way, this ebook is a beautiful way to support the work and keep these messages alive. The Pleiadian map of personal transmutation was created with care to share tools that help raise your frequency, clear old patterns, and reconnect with your multidimensional self through the 7 Pleiadian phases of energetic transmutation. Inside, you'll find practical techniques, realignment exercises, vibrational protocols, and gentle rituals for consciousness expansion. By purchasing this ebook, you directly support the channel and allow this content to continue reaching more people. Limited edition. The link to get yours is in the first pinned comment. Thank you for being here and for supporting this journey, Cliffhanger. So if grief is part of the upgrade, what does becoming look like now? How do you actually live as a starseed without isolating, collapsing, or doubting yourself? The new phase is not about escaping Earth. It's about embodying your frequency here. The Pleiadian transmit that the true starseed path is integration, bringing your multidimensional awareness into your daily choices, your relationships, your work, your boundaries, your environment. This is where your difference becomes your medicine, not only for you, but for everyone your life touches. So what does grounded starseed living look like? First, it looks like nervous system sovereignty. You stop treating rest as a reward and start treating it as a requirement. You build routines that regulate you: consistent sleep, hydration, time in nature, time in silence, creative expression, movement. You stop apologizing for your needs. Because your needs are not extra, they are the maintenance of an antenna. Second, it looks like energetic boundaries, not walls, filters. You become selective about who gets access to your field. You stop explaining your sensitivity to those who mock it. You stop trying to convince people of your worth. You stop negotiating with inconsistency. You become calm, clear, and precise. Third, it looks like truth-based connection. You choose friendships and relationships where presence is mutual, where communication is honest, where depth is welcome, where your too much is not managed, but cherished. And you learn to recognize real resonance. It feels safe, not addictive. It feels steady, not chaotic. It feels clear, not confusing. Fourth, it looks like mission embodiment. You don't have to know the final form. Start with what your soul is asking now. Maybe it's creating content that awakens others. Maybe it's leaving a job that drains you. Maybe it's starting a healing practice. Maybe it's speaking your truth in your family. Maybe it's learning energy work. Maybe it's writing. Maybe it's building community. The Pleiadian transmit that mission reveals itself through action, not overthinking. Movement creates clarity. And finally, it looks like self-trust. This may be the hardest piece, because many starseeds were trained to doubt themselves. They were gaslit by family, by culture, by systems that don't understand multidimensional sensitivity. But self-trust is rebuilt through small agreements. You listen to your body, you honor your boundaries, you keep your promises to yourself, you choose coherence even when it costs comfort. Over time, your field stabilizes, and when your field stabilizes, your life stabilizes. So if you've always felt different, receive this as your permission. You don't need to become normal. You need to become coherent. You don't need to shrink. You need to refine. You don't need to prove. You need to embody. And the Pleiadian message for you today is simple. You are not here to fit in. You are here to tune reality. If this message impacted your life, leave your like, comment your reflection, and share with others. Each of you is part of this chain of light.